Hey everybody, grab your paints. Let's paint this. This will be a 3-part paint along. It's long, but it's fun. So come along, let's paint. Alright, let's mosey on up to the easel here and see what we have. I have a 16 by 20 canvas here that I've sketched a little landscape in. I've got a distant mountain over here. I have one that's a little bit closer with a cliffside. We have water in here, a little rock formation, waterfall, waterfall, waterfall. Some more landscaping, hillside coming in, maybe a big boulder here, another hillside coming in on this side, and waterfall, waterfall, water, maybe a big rock there. Really, this is just a guide, and so it may change as we go along, and so we're open to that. So, let's see. Colors I have today. Again, I'm using the Winsor and Newton Artisan water mixable oils. If you're using traditional oils, that's perfectly fine. It'll work just fine here. Just when I'm cleaning my brushes with water, you'll be cleaning yours with thinner. No big deal. And I try not to clean my brushes too much, but we may need to. Anyways, colors: titanium white, Naples Yellow, Cadmium Yellow, Yellow Ochre, Sap Green, Magenta, Cobalt Blue, Burnt Umber, and right here I have about equal parts of Burnt Umber and French ultramarine blue. And what I'm going to do with that is I am going to make my own black. I just like this black better. Lamp black, ivory black, midnight black, you know, whatever black you have, Mars black, it'll work. I just happen to like this black. I think it gives it a bit more of a realistic vibe. I don't know. Anyways, but what happens is when you mix a little white with this, it's a true black. You'll see a true gray. It won't lean to being greenish, purplish, nothing like that. It'll just be gray. Now, I may have a little too much blue in this. And if so, I'll add a little more burnt umber, but we'll see here. We'll get it mixed up real good. Pick that stuff up and turn it over. Let's get a little touch of white. Of course. Of course. A horse is a horse, of course, of course. We'll take a little more burnt umber into it. Sometimes that blue can be a little overpowering. And quite honestly, if this is going to lean one way or the other, I want it to lean towards the brown side more than anything. There might be a painting I do where I want it to lean to the blue side, and that's all right. Yeah, I think this is more what I was going for. Okay, let's try this again. Try this again. Let's get a little bit of white. And we'll take some of this color. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Leans just slightly to the brown, and I am quite okay with that. All right, so let's get busy here. I'm going to grab a paper towel. Not that one, it has some paint on it. Grab a little paper towel. I love these Selecticize. Okay, and I'm going to dip that in some linseed oil. There we go. And right up here, I know where my sky is going to be. I'm just going to cover that in linseed oil so I can get the paint to move around a little bit. But really, the sky is about the only place that I need it at the moment. I might need it in the water, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? Okay, so I got the linseed oil up there in the sky. Now I'm just going to take a dry part of the paper towel and I'm just going to wipe off any excess. There we go. And it feels dry, but that oil is in there. And that's going to let our paint move around. And that's a good thing. All right, so let's go up here to the sky. I'm going to take some white. I'm using a 1-inch. This is just a chip brush with a plastic handle. So there's some white. We're going to grab some of this Cobalt Blue. All right. And I think I'm going to add a touch of burnt umber just to gray it down just a fuzz. I don't want it looking like candy, you know, candy colored. All right. I'm going to get just a drop right on the corner of my bristles, just a drop of linseed oil, just to loosen that up just a little bit. Not a whole lot because I have linseed oil up here. And I'm going to come down here, and that's good. Okay. I'm going to start putting in that sky right here down at the base of the sky where you can see the sky, because we're going to have our hillsides here. There we go. There we are. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little more blue. A little more blue. Touch of burnt umber. Okay. Roll the shoulder a little bit. There we go. And now I'm going to go up here into the corners and work my way across. Okay, let's go a little bit more here. Go over here to this corner. Start working our way. And I think I'm probably going to darken this up a bit. That's just it, you know. Put it in your sky, see what you think. I think it's easier to darken it up, so I'd rather err on the side of it being light. So we'll grab a little more blue, a little bit of burnt umber, and I might take just a touch of magenta into that too. There we go. Yeah, there we are. There we are. I'm just doing little X patterns. figure eights, whatever you want to call it. Blue, touch of magenta, touch of umber, more blue in that. Okay, now this is probably going to be at least a 2-part, if not a 3-part paint along, and that's okay. If you've watched any of my paint alongs, you know I don't try and rush through a painting. I hear people, or I shouldn't say hear, I see people in some of these chat rooms talking about how fast they painted this painting and this and that, like it's a race. My thing is slow down, enjoy it, look at what you're painting, think about what you're painting. I'm going to take some white, go into this. Just more as a kind of mid-tone. And I'm going to move my light just for a minute here. It's really bugging me at the moment. See if I can get it adjusted a little bit better and out of the eye of the camera anyways. Okay. Well, I guess that'll work. Okay, now I'm going to wipe out my brush. I'm going to wipe it out real good. Just as good as I can get it. There we go. I'm just wiping it out on a rag. That's all. You can do it on a paper towel. I mean, whatever you have handy. Now I'm going to come down here in this light area, and I'm just going to do that X pattern again, and I'm going to start blending that light area up into that darker area. I don't want to blend the dark down because I don't want to erase my light down here. If you feel like you're starting to pick up too much dark, go ahead and wipe that brush out again. There we go. Alright, and now I'm just blending it the rest of the way out, getting rid of the brush strokes. There we are. Okay, now it's time for a sip of iced tea. Or wine or beer or water or whatever you happen to enjoy. Okay, so there's that. Now let's see, we'll go ahead and do some clouds here. So I'm just going to take a fan brush and let's grab some white, bring it on out here. There we are. And let's grab just a touch. You gotta be really careful with this magenta. Just a touch of magenta in that. Okay. And yeah, there's a little bit of blue and stuff in there. That's okay. It's gonna be mixing with it right there anyways. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and just put in some clouds. Now, the way I like to do clouds is haphazard. There's really no rhyme or reason. There's really not, because clouds will take whatever shape clouds will take. So, just be kind of haphazard with it. Try not to stay in one spot. And when you get down to the bottoms, they tend to flatten out. Okay? There we go. I was picking up a little bit too much blue there. I'm just wiping out the ends of my bristles. That's another thing I see is a lot of folks, not so much with these, but with the bigger brushes, the 1 inch, the 2 inch, they get paint all the way up to the ferrule, and you don't need to do that. You're painting with the tips of the bristles. Now, if you were painting a house, yeah, you'd be using the whole thing. But you don't want to do that here. All right, well, I think that's some nice little cloud formations. Maybe we'll do a few more. And get some more. I wiped out my brush. Maybe there's a cloud that lives right here. He's just floating up here in the sky, enjoying God's creation. And who can blame him? Wiped out my brush, picking up some more white. I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna grab a little more white over here. Up a little more. I'm not getting enough on my brush here. There we go. And that one went real pink. That's okay. I'll take it. Strengthen up some of these. Yeah, there we go. Haphazard. There we are. Okay. Now, they don't quite look like clouds yet, but they will. Or at least I hope they will. Okay, now that 1 inch brush that we used for the sky, I've wiped it out as I'm not getting a whole bunch more pigment out of it on my rag, so that's good. Now I'm gonna have to move my head over here to see because of the light, but I'm gonna place my bristles on the canvas and I'm not even gonna lift them. I'm just going to make little circles and just blend the bottoms of these clouds. There we go. Let's do that again with these up here. Just the bottoms. There we go. Now I'm going to take that same brush, I've wiped it out, and I'm going to fluff these. Just fluff them up very, very lightly. Remember, when you fluff something, it's a very gentle motion, okay? Very gentle. As old Bob would say, two hairs and some air. There we go. I like those. All right, now over here, let's do the same thing. Just the bottoms. There we are. And let's fluff these. Nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. Just kind of in a circular motion. There we go. There we go. Wiping out my brush again. 2 hairs and some air. I'm just going to go over it. I'm just going to fuzz it out. Back in the day, I heard Bob and Bill Alexander both say hypnotize it. There we go. So we're just going to hypnotize it. There we go. All right. So I'd say we have our nice little sky in there. Pretty happy with that. Okay, now let's start putting in our hillside here. Okay, I've just got this old scrub brush. I mean, it started off as a flat that was probably about that long. And I've just worn the bristles, and yeah, they're pretty. It's just a scrubby one. We'll see how this thing does. It may be about time to retire this one and move on to a newer one. But, so let's go ahead and put in some of these. Let's take some Sap Green. Come on. Need a little more than that. I'm just going to put it right here into this pink that we used in the clouds. Some Sap Green. I'm going to take some yellow ochre. I'm going to take some Cobalt Blue. More Sap Green. And you just play around with these colors until you get the color that you think you want. You know, I'm going to add some blue into that. Some more blue. And you know what? We're going to grab some of this black. Not much. There. Get all that off. This is one of those brushes. It's real easy to get all the paint into the ferrule. So, all right. Now I'm going to start up here. I'm going to start just putting in little shapes. Okay, let me see. I think I need some more black. And let's put in some Naples Yellow. Let's try that. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll work. Hope so. We're kind of committed here. Not really. With oil painting, you're really not committed. You can change at any point. Okay, I'm just gonna put in just little shapes here. Bushes, trees. All right. Now, I'm going to add some more Sap Green into that. Some more black. More Sap Green. More blue. All right. Now, I am just going to start filling this in here. And I'm just doing this right here for texture. But I'm just filling this in. Now this is off in the distance. You're not going to be able to tell any details, so to speak. You might be able to catch a little glimpse of a highlight here and there, but not a whole bunch. But I do like to put in some texture because when we do hit it with a few little highlights, it makes them really stand out. and that's Sap Green, Cobalt Blue, and that mixed black that we made. And like I said, if you wanted to use any of the pre-mixed blacks that come from a tube, that's perfectly fine. I will say there is one popular brand that I've heard and I've experienced myself, that when you try to mix it with white to make a gray, it actually comes out purple. And it's a very popular brand, but it's not one that I use. So, but even with the ones I use, possibility that it's just not going to be that shade that you want. Gotta rest my shoulder here for a second. I'm not used to keeping my arm up the whole time because I'm going to the pallet over here that's on the easel. I'm used to being able to set it down and do everything on the table next to me, and that gives my shoulder a break for a minute. But hey, it's the price we pay. I know. Problems, right? Okay, now's a good time to take a sip of iced tea anyways. Okay, I'm gonna go right back here into this green, this dark green. It's got cobalt blue in it. It's got our black in it. Putting this in. And we're just going to add some texture here. And basically, we're kind of like adding the treetops. When you're looking out off into the distance at a hillside. Maybe there's a little tree right there. Some bushes popping up here. Maybe that comes up a little bit higher. There we go. All right. And this is our base coat there. We're gonna hit it up with some with a few little highlights, not a whole bunch, but a few, because we want to be able to pick out a few things there. So why don't we sit back, take a look at it, see what we got. All right, I think we need to have some pine trees in there though. Some evergreens. Yep. Okay. Well, let's take a fan brush here. This is a different one that I use rather than the ones in the clouds. This is a number 3. I am going to take some black. Add a little more black into that, because evergreens are usually darker, but I am going to add, I think I'll go with some Naples Yellow. Naples Yellow, and maybe a little Cad Yellow. Let's see if we like it. I think that'll work. I think so. And so we'll just add a few little evergreens, little pine tree looking things. Why not? Load up again. Maybe we've got another one that's, ooh, I'm about to lose a hair there. I'd rather pluck it off before it hits the canvas. Okay, let's try that again. Maybe there's another one hangs out right next to this guy. Maybe he's just a little bit shorter and kind of leans to the side a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. We'll put one right here. He's got a pretty good seat in the house, doesn't he? He gets to look out over all this. He's been here for a long time. Big old strong evergreen. All right. I'm digging it. Okay, so now let me show you a little something, a little tip. What I did here, I now have a dark fan brush and a lighter fan brush. Put in the darks, put in the highlights. It's nice to have two fan brushes. Now, if you only have one, can you do it? Absolutely, but you need to clean your brushes quite a bit more. And as I said in the beginning, you guys probably know I'm not a big fan of cleaning my brushes while I'm painting. You know, just not my thing. Bob said it was the funnest part of painting. I tend to disagree, Bob. So, all right, so let's make up a little highlight color to go in here. It's just so we can kind of make out some treetops and so forth, okay? All right, now we have our dark color down. It's a green. Let's get some Naples Yellow. Get some Naples Yellow. Let's get some, just a touch of Cad Yellow. Let's get some yellow ochre. As Bob would say, all the yellows. Let's grab some green. Maybe a little bit of the blue. There we go. Now, see how that looks. Sometimes this light. Okay. There we go. We're just making little treetops. Just letting these, they're highlights, but they're not real bright. You know what I mean? Highlights, but not real bright. And don't kill all of your dark areas. Don't kill all your dark areas. Those are important. Those are your shadows. And that's where all the critters hide, as Bob would say. And I'm just taking my brush and I'm tapping and I'm kind of turning and twisting as I go. Now I've picked up a lot of that undercolor, and so I'm going to wipe out my brush. There we go, and I'll go over here and I'll reload. Now remember, this is the background. You're not going to see a whole lot of detail here. Let's see, we had all the yellows. Green. And some of that blue. Some more cad yellow in it. Yeah. All right. Now I'm just gonna tap some of these edges down just to kind of set all this down into the painting very lightly. I guess you could kind of say I'm kind of blending the edges into the dark color. I guess that'd be a better way of putting it. At least I think it would be. All right. Okay, there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. How about you? Okay. Now I'm just wiping out my brush. Wiping out my brush. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to back up a little bit here, away from the easel. Just going to kind of roll back and try not to hit the tripod that's holding the camera. Just sit back and take a peek. Okay. Now, do you see how adding that texture on that base coat really helped things? That's why I like doing it. You just get that texture in there, and I think it just brings that feeling of, yeah, that's real, that's reality, but I can't, you know, I can't make out any fine details, but I can see that's a bunch of trees back there. That's a forest. All right. Woo-wee. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a good time. All right, now we need to come over here. We need to start working on this over here now, don't we? All right. So, for this, we are going to go ahead and take that old scrubby brush that we made all that dark color with. And you know what? Before I get going with that, I can already see I'm going to need some more paint up here on the palette. So, let's grab some Sap Green. Some Cobalt Blue. I think that'll do us for now. I'm going to pull those tails out. Oh, wait a second. Just picked up a palette knife and a big old glop of paint on it. Okay, let me wipe that off. All right. Okay, let me pull those tails out. There we go, and let's pull this tail out. All right. Put that back and make sure I don't have it all over my hands. Okay, now let's do this again here. Now this is going to be just a bit closer than this is fading off into the distance there. So let's grab some Sap Green. We'll grab some black. Let's go with some Naples Yellow here. Maybe some more black. Ooh, I overdid that black. Big time! Okay. Add some more green into that. And the Naples Yellow. Okay. Now, here we go. And I'm just basically doing the same thing I did over here, but I'm not going to bring that down like a hillside because this is going to wind up being a cliff. And so this is just going to come out and stop. It's going to stop right around in, you know, in this area here. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Maybe it comes out this way. A little plant life form. A plant life form that lives right there. Go. All right. All right, all right, all right. What did I do with that brush? There it is. There it is. There it is. My other little scrubby brush that I'm going to take all the yellows. Some green. Touch of blue. Let's see. Maybe we'll get some more Naples Yellow into that. There we go. And I'm just putting in little shapes again, just like it's hitting the tops of some bushes and plants and so forth. And you can vary up this color if you want to add some more cad yellow into it. You certainly could do that. If you wanted to add some more yellow ochre, that's fine. I mean, just however you want to do it. You could even add a little magenta in there. Maybe, yeah. Yes, you could. It's your painting. You can do with it what you want, right? Why don't we do that? Let's add just a little bit of magenta into that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that'll work. Now I'm going to grab that dark colored fan brush here. And this is what we used for our evergreens. I might take a touch more black into it. There we go. And let's see what we have here. Oh yeah, I think that's going to work for us. Maybe there's one that kind of goes off to the side just a little bit like that. What do you think? It's okay. There we are. There we are. Let me grab a touch of black. Grab some of this. Some of that green that we made. Oh, man. Let's put in another little guy right here. And he's just a little guy. That's okay. He's going to grow up and be a big guy one day. Maybe we have one right here. I mean, hey, why not, right? There's another one. He's going off this way. Well, you know what? Maybe there's one that's right here. Right on the edge of the painting. There we go. Okay. We'll take that. We'll take that. Sit back. Have a look at it. Yep. I like it. Except I think maybe I need a little more dark right up in here. Remember how I said don't get rid of the dark? I think I need a little more dark. I'm going to take a 2-inch, a half-inch, 2-inch, half-inch, yeah, big difference. I'm going to take a half-inch chip brush. And I'm going to take some of this green color that we made, put it down in here, add a little more black to it. That's a little too much. Okay. I'm just going to go in here. I add just a touch, just a drop of linseed oil to that, just to loosen it up. Now let's try it. Okay. There we go. Just a little bit more dark into that. I don't really need you know, to get real detailed with it because it's still off in the distance. So, okay, there we are. All right. Now, let's see, you know, oh, come here. Let me wash out this brush. I'm gonna wash out, I don't know what size this is, 3/4 inch? 3/4 inch flat? I think it says a number 10, but I do not have my reading glasses on, so you'll see it as soon as I get it washed out. There we go. Okay. Now let me dry that bad boy. Bad boy, bad boy. There we go. There we are. It's just a Royal Line nickel. I'm pretty sure that says 10. Yeah. Yeah, it's 10. Here we are. Okay. Now, I'm going to just get some burnt umber. Just get some burnt umber. I'm going to get some burnt umber and some black. Touch of black. There we go. And a drop of linseed oil. Just loosen her up. Loosen up. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to start putting it in here. This is going to be my cliff side. I think maybe I want a little more black in that. But I'm just going to block in this. I'm just going to block this in. Black. Burnt umber. And just going to paint that in. I'm going to get this. This is going to be my dark to mid-tone color for this cliffside. Probably more my mid-tone. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Excuse me. So I say, excuse me. Maybe this comes out here. It comes back in. Pulling down in the direction of the way my cliff is falling. I guess is the best way to put it. There we go. Now this line right here, don't worry about that. We're going to put in some more green in here. That'll tie the two together. Now I just want a thin coat on here. I think a lot of problems can arise, for me anyways, if I have too thick of a paint on here. It can get out of control real quick. Wind up mixing mud, know what I mean? Believe me, we've all been there. I know I have. Anybody who paints has. If they say they haven't, I don't know that I'd want to play poker with them. Okay, I'm just blocking that in. Okay, there we go. Now I can kind of see what I want to do here. Okay. Now let's grab some burnt umber. And I've got that little scrubby brush that I like to call it, scrubby brush. I put some burnt umber in with this green. Some more burnt umber because I added some more green. Okay. Kind of olivey. Oh, I don't think that's a word. Olive looking. So to that, I'm going to add some Naples Yellow. Oh, goodness. Let's see what we have here. Maybe I'll add some black to that. Maybe we'll just go with some black. Okay. I'm just getting this texture, this dark texture in here because I'm going to start adding some highlights onto it. And I'm just taking it on back. I didn't know I was going to do it this way until just when I started doing it. Taking it on back. Okay, there we are. There we are. And need to put some highlights on that. Yes sir, yes sir. And for these highlights, I think I'm going to go with some yellow ochre and some Naples Yellow, and just a touch of this green here, and maybe a little more of a touch. And a touch of black. And reposition the light. And let me grab some oil. Some Earl. Because that's real thick paint on there. We'll add a little more of that green to it. I don't want a little more of that green. I think what I want is some cad yellow. Yeah. And I'm just making little shapes here, little shapes like bushes. Shapes like bushes. All right, let's grab some more cad yellow here. go. Maybe, just got to thinking about it, maybe, let's grab some black, grab some of that green. Maybe we have one that lives right here. What do you think? I think maybe we have one that lives there. There we go. Now maybe on this little guy, maybe if we wipe out our light colored brush, a little bit of Earl, grab a little bit of that black, I'm going to throw it into these yellows, and maybe a little touch of that green, a little more. There we go. Maybe he's got a few little highlights on him. Not many. Not many. There we go. All right. So I am going to call that the end of part 1. Okay. I will be back with part 2. We're going to go ahead and start putting in the cliff. We'll put in some water, and we'll start bringing it all together. So I will see you all in part 2.